For years, the Galactic Council underestimated Earth. They called humans young blood, too new to understand the delicate balance of interstellar politics. Earth was granted observer status at first, no voice, no vote, only ears. That was fine. Earth listened. But the more they listened, the more they learned. And the more they learned, the more they realized the council was not a council at all. It was a throne room, dominated by a few ancient species who ruled through fear, influence, and power. Humanity adapted. They always did. By 2483, Earth had full membership but no respect. Trade routes were taxed disproportionately. Human settlements were denied protection from pirates. Every vote Earth proposed was shot down. Every defense initiative was labeled aggressive posturing. Still, Earth said nothing. The Council continued to push. They demanded Earth surrender AI research, citing safety concerns. Earth complied partially, redacted files, limited blueprints. But it wasn't enough. Then came the disarmament mandate and order forcing Earth to dismantle all private and planetary fleets not under Council supervision. Earth's ambassador, Dr. Elise Reyna, stood before the Grand Hall. Her eyes scanned the towering chamber, filled with alien diplomats, each more smug than the last. "Our fleets exist for our defense, not your approval," she said calmly. The Volker High Marshal hissed. "Then you defy the Council." Reyna smiled faintly. "No. We simply refuse to be slaves." Then she walked out. Earth's flag was withdrawn from the Council chambers that same day. No words followed. No threats. Just silence. Weeks passed. The Council assumed Earth had gone rogue, isolated, broken under pressure. Intelligence reports said Earth's orbital stations went dark. Human communication lines were eerily quiet. Civilian traffic stopped completely. So the Council voted unanimously to pacify Earth. They dispatched a peacekeeping armada, 20 capital ships, 60 destroyers, and hundreds of drones led by Admiral Tkar of the Zalari Dominion. The fleet arrived in Sol system within 3 days. And they vanished in 3 seconds. No distress signal. No wreckage. Just silence. The Council demanded answers. None came. They sent recon probes. None returned. Panic set in. Then Earth spoke, not in words, but in light. The first strike came at Dorian 4, a major shipyard hub belonging to the Council's military branch. It was vaporized in a cascade of gravitational anomalies, ripped apart at the molecular level. Council communications were hijacked. Every species, every colony, every system received a single broadcast. A black screen. A voice. Human. Cold. Measured. You wanted obedience. You should have asked for respect. Then came the fire. Within a week, 12 major Council outposts fell. Earth's fleets, never registered, never tracked, appeared from nothing. They moved in complete silence, using tech no other species had seen: cloaked ships, anti-gravity torpedoes, adaptive shielding, autonomous AI squadrons. Council defense systems couldn't lock on fast enough. In the outer rings of Kator, orbital defense satellites watched as their own targeting systems were overridden. The satellites turned inward. And fired. In the Bexary cluster, entire fleets were grounded as Earth's cyber weapons infected navigation cores, locking ships in stasis. Earth never touched civilian worlds. But every military command center, every surveillance station, every warship was erased. The message was precise: we are not your enemy. Unless you make us one. The Council held an emergency summit. The Tazari Prime Minister shouted, "They are monsters. We must retaliate with full force." The Null Overseer replied, "With what? We don't even know where they are. We don't even know how they do what they do." "And what if," said a quiet voice from the back, "this was always a possibility? What if the silence wasn't weakness, but preparation?" It was the Varan delegate, one of the few races that had once warred with Earth in its early expansion. They watched us fight each other. And they learned. They watched us manipulate one another. And they learned. All this time, we thought they were behind. They were evolving. Meanwhile, on Earth, President Kira Thorne stood in the war room, a large, circular chamber beneath the Andes Mountains. She looked over the holographic map of the galaxy, red dots marking Council military installations, green representing neutral worlds. Almost all the red dots were gone. Her generals stood silently. No celebration. Just grim duty. This isn't conquest, Thorne said. We gave them every chance. General Singh nodded. They thought our silence was surrender. But it was strategy. Thorne tapped the console. Begin the recall. All fleets return home. And the Council asked her defense secretary. Thorne smiled faintly. Let them rebuild. Let them learn. And let them fear silence from now on. Back at the Grand Council chambers, Earth's ambassador returned. No fanfare. No weapons. Just her. She walked into the room and stood once more before the shocked alien leaders. Elise Reyna, representing the sovereign planet Earth, she said. No one stopped her. We have no interest in ruling you. We have no interest in war. But we will never kneel. The room was silent. One by one, the council leaders nodded. That day, Earth wasn't feared because of its weapons. It was respected because it had never wanted war. But when forced to speak through fire, it had spoken clearly. In the Age of Stars, Earth was a jewel mined too deeply. The Galactic Council had always treated it as a resource world ripe with innovation, labor, and minerals, but undeserving of equality. For decades, Earth's representatives walked diplomatic halls as second-class citizens, their voices silenced by protocol and prejudice. Still, Earth complied. Trade tariffs? Paid. Technological disclosures? Delivered. Restricted colonies? Accepted. But compliance was not consent. And silence was not submission. The fire had always been there, hidden, smoldering, waiting. Earth's colonies spanned far outposts on moons, terraformed rocks, and asteroid belts. One such colony was Bastion 6, a mining hub orbiting the dead world of Corva. Its people were tough, isolated, but fiercely loyal. They mined the rare crystalline compound Faranox, used in faster-than-light navigation, an element the Council highly valued but taxed beyond reason. The Council accused Bastion 6 of hoarding and illegal distribution. No trial. No hearing. Just judgment. A Council enforcement fleet descended. Peacekeepers turned warlords. The entire colony was razed. Over 38,000 civilians perished. Earth received the report in fragmented transmissions, screams, fire, and silence. The Council called it an unfortunate incident and demanded an apology for civilian defiance. Earth did not respond. No outrage. No retaliation. Just quiet. Council leaders mocked humanity's cowardice. One delegate from the Kareth Dominion even declared, "Humans have bark but no teeth." They laughed. But on Earth, the silence burned. Hidden beneath the Martian crust, Project Ember awakened. It had been sleeping for decades, a secret initiative born during Earth's first contact wars. Hidden AI bunkers came online. Orbital forges deep within Saturn's rings ignited. Vast drone armadas, buried beneath Europa's ice, rose like ghosts. Factories operated in silence. Every civilian ship was rerouted. All communications with the Council were severed. The Council sent envoys. They were ignored. They sent threats. They were deleted. They sent fleets. And Earth let them come. The first Council armada entered Sol space, expecting a disorganized response. Instead, they met nothing. No defenses. No fleets. No activity. Just a lone signal beacon drifting silently near Neptune. When they intercepted it, it played a short audio file. You took 38,426 lives. We will take back the silence they deserved. Then the stars around them exploded. They weren't stars, just reflections of Earth's cloaked ships. No sound. No warning. Just annihilation. In under 3 minutes, the Council fleet was reduced to drifting husks. The galaxy noticed. Earth launched no declarations, no official war. It simply acted. On day 3, 12 major Council communication hubs went dark. AI-based malware infected every known data network, turning planetary traffic into static. Trade routes were blocked by unknown jammers. No ship could jump through FTL safely without crossing Earth's grid. On day 5, Earth fleets were spotted in systems over 400 light-years apart simultaneously. The Council couldn't comprehend how they were moving. On day 7, 3 high-ranking Council generals were assassinated by unknown drones in their own bunkers, in 3 different sectors. The message was clear: no place was safe. In the Council's war room, chaos reigned. The Talker warlord pounded his claws against the table. They're not following any doctrine. They're not fighting like a civilization, they're fighting like vengeance incarnate. The high chair of the Council, an aged Rinthi, turned to the silent Varen representative. You served with the humans once, did you not? The Varen bowed his head. We did. Long ago. We thought them too emotional, too idealistic. We were wrong. They are the most dangerous when they go quiet. The room fell silent. They're not retaliating, the Varen continued. They're correcting. Back on Earth, President Amara Locke stood inside an underground command chamber hundreds of meters beneath the Pacific Ocean. She watched the galactic map as red dots, Council military sites, disappeared one by one. Her generals awaited orders. We have crippled their fleets, burned their arms, blinded their eyes, said Admiral Yun. Do we end this? Locke was silent for a moment. Then she said, no civilian colonies. No children. No cities. But every facility connected to Bastion 6, destroy it. Ma'am, a lieutenant whispered, the Council has requested terms. They're offering surrender. President Locke narrowed her eyes. They didn't offer terms to Bastion 6. On day 10, the Council's central fortress Arcal Prime woke to the sight of an Earth dreadnought hovering above their skyline. Not attacking. Just watching. When Council defense systems locked onto it, they all failed. Earth's ship vanished from sensors, reappeared, and dropped a small payload. A data core. Inside were video logs from Bastion 6. Every horror. Every scream. Every face. The message that followed. We are not conquerors. We do not wish for war. But when peace is denied, justice will find another voice. You didn't listen to our words. So now, hear our silence. The dreadnought disappeared. The war ended not with a treaty, but with a withdrawal. The Council retreated from human borders. Trade resumed this time, under Earth's terms. No more forced compliance. No more taxes. No more silence mistaken for weakness. Earth rejoined the interstellar community not as a servant, but as an equal. Some even say, as a warning. To this day, when Council students learn of the Bastion War, they are taught a single phrase in human language. Do not provoke the quiet ones. Their fire burns deepest. The Galactic Council remembered Earth only in passing, a blue world tucked into a modest spiral arm, quiet and unremarkable. To most civilizations, it was a fading curiosity. A species that had once spread quickly across nearby systems, only to disappear into itself. 1,000 years ago, humans had roared into the stars like a wildfire, colonizing, expanding, conquering. Their name echoed through history books, the Terran sovereignty, an empire of brutal efficiency, unmatched technology, and unstoppable momentum. Then, they vanished. Not in war. Not in collapse. They simply went silent. Entire star systems dimmed. Hyperlanes once mapped by Terran hands were erased. Outposts powered down. Ships turned inward. Earth closed its borders, abandoned the stars, and became a whisper. The galaxy moved on. The Council believed Earth had burned out. That silence was a grave. They were wrong. It was hibernation. In the year 4531 GC, Galactic Calendar, the Council passed Directive Sigma 4, mandating all member worlds to surrender archival technologies for centralized control. The rationale was security. Unregulated AI, timefold drives, and deep memory archives had become a threat. Earth objected. It was the only vote against the directive. The motion passed anyway. Weeks later, Council surveyors arrived near Sol System, tasked with cataloging Terran artifacts, tapping planetary archives, and inspecting Earth's satellite web. They found nothing. No signals. No satellites. No evidence of active infrastructure. The solar system appeared empty. Mars was cold and quiet. The moons of Jupiter abandoned. Earth itself, obscured by artificial weather, gave no readings. The lead surveyor, a KRA scientist named Jiltex, reported back. The system appears abandoned. Terran culture has either perished or reverted. And the Council believed it. Another empire gone. But far below the false clouds and the masked satellites, Earth was watching. And waiting. In a massive vault buried beneath what was once the Andes Mountains, Protocol Polaris initiated. A woman in dark armor stood before a circular table glowing with star maps. Her eyes were gray like storm glass, and her voice, when she spoke, resonated with command. Status, she said. A technician responded, Council probe vessels have exited Sol. No scans penetrated the cloaking net. They believe the surface is uninhabited. The woman nodded. Then they'll make the next move. Her name was Admiral Lyra Solari, High Command of the reawakened Terran Empire. For 800 years, Earth had hidden its strength behind a veil of deliberate decay. Technologies far beyond the Council's comprehension had simulated regression, weather interference, signal distortion, and false planetary decay. The Council had seen what Earth wanted them to see. In truth, Earth had never fallen. It had transcended. After centuries of warfare, humanity had realized peace would never be granted by treaties or alliances. Only by obscurity. So they had gone dark. Now, they would return. Because the Council had forgotten what Earth was. And Earth had not forgotten what it had been. 2 weeks after the survey mission, the Council announced plans to establish a permanent observation post in the Sol system, a small station, a token fleet, and diplomatic personnel to ensure compliance with Directive Sigma 4. It was a mistake. The station, named Beacon Theta, arrived quietly. A Zalari corvette led the fleet, dozens of drones, 3 diplomatic shuttles, and a science vessel. Beacon Theta never transmitted a single message. Its crew never left. In fact, within 3.7 seconds of crossing the heliopause, the entire fleet ceased to exist. They weren't destroyed. They were absorbed. By something vast. Something unseen. Deep in the Kuiper belt, a shape moved. It was massive, triangular, longer than any known Council vessel. It shimmered in and out of visibility, bending light around its edges. A ship, but also something more. A remnant of the old Terran sovereignty. A ghost ship. Its name was Eidolon. And its awakening marked the end of Earth's silence. Across Council space, anomalies began to appear. Trade routes failed. Data archives malfunctioned. Drones malfunctioned and turned against their masters. When Council intelligence tried to investigate, their probes disintegrated mid-transit. Then the message came. A burst of pure code, distributed across every known frequency. No voice. No face. Just 4 words in Terran Standard. The throne reclaimed silence. Panic swept the Council chambers. "They're back," hissed the Sheln Prime Minister. The Terrans. They were never gone. The Council chair, High Scholar Yenax, slammed a tentacle against the floor. Impossible. Earth is a dead world. The Varan representative spoke, voice low, "You mistake silence for death. Again. Council forces mobilized. But they were centuries behind. Their ships were slower. Their weapons weaker. Their fleets outdated. For every battle they prepared, Earth had already moved. One by one, lost colonies lit up with Terran signatures, worlds long thought extinct. Forgotten outposts. Buried vaults. All reactivated. And then, something happened that shook the galaxy. The moon moved. Orbiting Earth, Luna had remained unchanged for millennia. Until now. Council telescopes watched in stunned silence as its orbit shifted. Beneath the lunar surface, colossal engines fired, silent, ancient, perfectly engineered. The moon was not a moon. It was a fortress. And its surface split open, revealing hangars, cannons, launch bays. A fleet of obsidian-colored vessels emerged, unlike anything recorded in Council history, sleek, jagged, elegant, and terrifying. They bore no markings. No IFF codes. Only one symbol, a silver phoenix rising from a dying star. The symbol of the Terran Empire. Earth was not returning. It was already here.